What's going on, YouTube family? This your man Pristine back with another video. Welcome to the Pristine review for the Lenovo Z5. Let's waste no time and let's dive right in. Now, first things first, price and specs. This phone is priced at $229.99, and I'll drop the link in the description. I ordered it from AliExpress. There's a warehouse, they're just kind of like Amazon. They work with a bunch of different warehouses and supply chains or whatnot that you can order products from. The phone was imported from China. I did pay additional for the expedited shipping through DHL, and I was able to get this phone in 6 days through DHL. So the shipping process was pretty swift, and that's gonna be dependent on where you are in the world. Me, I'm in Seattle, Washington. This phone came from Hong Kong, and so if I didn't pay for the expedited shipping, according to online, the site in which I ordered it, they said it was going to take anywhere from like 29 to 44 days to get it. You know what I mean? And I'm very impatient, so I just went ahead and cashed out the extra 36 bucks and got that DHL expedited shipping, and I had the phone here in 6 days. Okay, so $229.99, plus the taxes. It was a little closer to $250 or something like that, and then throw on the 36 bucks. On top of that I paid for the expediting shipping. Everything came up to like $276 or something like that, which still isn't bad. So I got the device and expedited shipping for still under 300 bucks. And I think that that's an excellent value considering everything that this phone is housing. Now, speaking of what this phone is housing, we've got a Snapdragon 636 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of onboard storage that can be expanded up to 256 gigs. We've got the 19:9 aspect ratio. You do see that we've got the notch here. We've got Type-C connectivity that does support fast charging. We've got Bluetooth 5.0. We've got Android 8.1 fresh out of the box. That's a mouthful, for a device that costs under $300. So this is definitely one of the higher end mid-range devices. This is competing with the Asus Zenfone 5, competing with the Nokia 7 Plus, and other phones that are in that mid-range category. And I think that it's a great option. It's got excellent cameras. So, just you're getting an excellent value for the money. This is definitely a value that's going to be hard to top. Now, the build quality, it's glass on the front and the back. So you've got a beautiful, beautiful build here. As you can see, it's a 2.5D curved Gorilla Glass 3. If I'm not mistaken, and you can see the back of it there, you've got that little shimmer to it. You can see you've got the iPhone style vertical lenses with the fingerprint sensor right there, Lenovo branding right there. And you see around the edges, it's curved around the edges. So when you hold it, it's extremely comfortable to hold in the hand. Now, it's a little bit wide. I know a lot of these phones that have this 19:9 aspect ratio, they're stretched vertically as opposed to, the width of the particular device. And so it's not the thinnest device, but it's still comfortable to hold and grip in the hand and maneuver around. Definitely you want to keep a microfiber cleaning cloth if you're rocking this phone butt naked, because it definitely is a fingerprint magnet. And speaking of fingerprints, there we go. All right, so I'm a fan of the build quality. It is all glass, and me, I don't really have a preference. I'm just more so into how things look as opposed to the actual feel of it. Some phones I like that are glass, other phones I like that are aluminum or just metal. It doesn't really matter to me. You know what I mean? But in 2018, it does kind of look just like a lot of other phones that have been released this year. And so that's why I refer to in the unboxing as another notch option. And that's what this is. This is a good option, but nonetheless, it's another notch option. It's another device that came out that has a notch. If you're not really a fan of the notches, then you may want to stay away from this, because this does not give you the option under the display settings to cancel out the notch. You got to deal with it. It's just something you got to live with if you decide to rock with the Lenovo Z5 here. So be mindful of that if you're thinking about purchasing this device. If you're anti-notch, do not buy this phone. All right, go with the OnePlus 6 if you can afford to. Get the G7, the LG G7 if you can afford to. Go with one of the new, Xiaomi Mi 8 devices. If you don't want to, those are excellent values as well for what they're offering. But I think the cheapest version is the Xiaomi Mi 8 SE. which has that new Snapdragon 710 processor in it, and I'm very excited for that. You know, I'm more excited for that more so than the other ones that have the Snapdragon 845 processor in it, because I've got devices that have the 845 in it. I've never had the 710, and so I'm actually, you know, I've got my radar set on that Xiaomi Mi 8 SE. So look forward to seeing that here on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now performance. As I mentioned, Snapdragon 636 processor, 6 gigs of RAM as opposed to 4 gigs of RAM, and that's a rarity in the mid-range category. Typically, I mean, you see anywhere from 3 to 4 gigs of RAM on a mid-range device, but this is housing 6 gigs of RAM, and I gotta say, man, I mean, performance and everything is buttery smooth with no problems at all whatsoever. And if I can click into that there, I'm connected to my Wi-Fi here, and so speeds or things are going to be different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're connected to Wi-Fi versus your LTE connection. Now, where I am in the world, I'm in Seattle, Washington, and so this phone works best in the area in which I'm in with AT&T, and I just so happen to have an AT&T SIM card that I have popped in here. So actually, let me go ahead and turn Wi-Fi off, because I know that a lot of people who watched the unboxing video when I was talking about the bands and the compatibility with networks and things, some of you guys hit me up in the comments and was like, oh, the phone don't work in the US. Why are you misleading people and blah, 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 blah. Well, check this out, homie. Okay, you see right there, AT&T, and I'm running off of the HSPA Plus, I believe, which is 3.5G. It's above 3G or 3G, and it's a step below 4G. All right, so let me see. Okay, pop right back into my Google. Okay, let's go to my Bible app. Okay, you see that? And here, let me hold that scripture up for you guys. You know, matter of fact, here, let me tap on that so you guys can go ahead and get that word up in you. You know what I'm saying? Now pause the video real quick. Pause the video real quick, and you see I'm getting all these notifications from Facebook. So let me get those out of here. Jeez. Okay. Sweep those out. And they're just pouring in. So all right, my bad. So yeah. So we'll go ahead and get the Bible app. You know, you guys go ahead and pause that. Get that up in your spirit, get that up in your system, you know what I'm saying? Food for life. All right. Now, let's see. What else can I pop into? Let's go to my YouTube studio. All right. Bam. All right. It's my studio here. We'll pop out of that. What else can I go into real quick? Let's go into SoundCloud real quick. All right. SoundCloud's a big music file. You guys see that. All right. So, for everybody out there that doubted that this phone works in the US, you swipe up from the bottom, and that's how you access your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, everything. You see, Wi-Fi is off. Data, card 1. See where it says card 1? This phone does have dual SIM slots. I mean, so you can put dual nano SIMs in here, or you can put a nano SIM in and an SD card for memory expansion. So that is confirmation to all of you non-believers that didn't believe that this phone works in the US. Now, again, I will say it is solely dependent on the area in which you live. Make sure if you decide to order this device, you check the bands that the carrier bands in the area in which you are, because it's going to be different depending on location. So where I am in the United States, in Seattle, Washington, this phone works best with AT&T. It doesn't work that well with T-Mobile. It doesn't work that well with Sprint or Verizon. It works the best in the area where I am with AT&T. It's GSM unlocked. Okay, now you may be able to get some sort of signal if you put a CDMA SIM card in here, depending on where you are, but you may not be able to have all the phone's features and functionality. You may be able to place calls, but you may not be able to get your notifications, or vice versa. You may get your notifications, but you may not be able to place calls or browse the web or anything like that. So just check the bands in the area where you are and make your decision based on whether or not you're going to be able to get a connection. Now, where I am, I can't get 4G. Like I said, I get HSPA Plus, which, as I just displayed, that is sufficient enough for me to be able to call, text, browse the web in a pretty speedy fashion. It's not as fast as 4G, but what is it, like a few seconds behind 4G? You know what I mean? So it's not really that big of a deal. Now, just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to turn my Wi-Fi back on. So you just saw that. So again, for all you non-believers, that's clarification. That's proof that this phone does work with AT&T in the US, in the area where I am. I want to emphasize that. So as far as the performance and RAM management and things of that nature, things are buttery smooth. Things didn't have to reload. Let's see. Let's pop back into my studio there. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back into the Bible app there. Boom. It just pops right back into it. It doesn't have to reload the page. Okay. Let's pop back into SoundCloud. And you see SoundCloud is still up and running back there in the background. I mean, so, you know, RAM management, I got to say, is really good on this device. And so performance has not been a problem at all whatsoever. Okay, now the cameras. Now I just uploaded the camera video this morning. Getting some pretty good feedback on that. You know, the cameras, in my personal opinion, are really good on this particular device. As I mentioned in the other videos, the camera video the camera actually exceeded my expectations of it. Not that I was expecting for the camera to be trash. I was expecting for it to be a decent camera, considering that this is, you know. This is actually my first Lenovo only device. I mean, I've had Moto devices. You know, Lenovo, they now own Motorola. And so they're behind a lot of these Moto phones that have been coming out. You know what I mean? And so I've had those. But this is actually my first device that Lenovo, that isn't attached to anyone else. They're not attached to Motorola or anyone. This is Lenovo's phone. This is my first Lenovo device. And so I was expecting for the camera to be okay. I was hoping that it would be. But the camera has exceeded my expectations. It's better than what I thought it was going to be. And that's a plus. That's a good thing, especially considering the price, because that's one of the main things that people go for. When you look for a cell phone, it's like, okay, how much does it cost? How's the camera? You know what I mean? That seems to be the two main questions before anything else. And then after that, then people start talking about, okay, the performance and the specs and storage space and can it be expanded? And, you know, does it have dual SIMs? You know, I'm a traveler and stuff like that. I mean, it seems there seems as though there's this particular order, and, you know, that people look for mostly to make smartphone decisions. And, you know, I know the camera being one of those main things. And so in my opinion, the camera department is on point. Now we don't have optical image stabilization. You know, we don't have a portrait mode. And I know us reviewers, we make a big deal about portrait mode because, you know, we're looking to see if these phones have these features, and if they do, we're looking to see how well these features function. But I feel like the average Joe, the average individual that's going to buy a phone, even if they're wanting their camera to be a solid camera, it's not necessarily, they may not necessarily be into portrait mode and the whole bokeh effect and things of that nature. They just may want to just take a crisp, clean photo or some crisp, clean video. A lot of these features that are on these camera apps on these phones, a lot of people don't even use because they don't care about them. Most people are just like point and shoot. So it's the people that are more advanced and seasoned in the photography category that care about a lot of the other bells and whistles and the options, you know, pro mode and having the ability to, you know, change everything and just taking manual control over everything to get the camera to where you want it. The white balance, shutter speed, ISO, you know, all that type of thing, bokeh effect, portrait mode, you know, just all that kind of stuff. You know, a lot of people don't really get into that stuff. Okay, now we do have pro mode and all that stuff on this particular phone, but we do not have... Pardon me, we don't have a portrait mode on board, and from what I can tell, there is no optical image stabilization. Yeah, you know, you guys, every time I record these videos before I upload them, I watch them because I'm a perfectionist. I know I'm not perfect, but I practice perfection, and I know that I'm nowhere near professional when it comes to this whole YouTube thing. You know, there's a lot of reviewers out there that got, man, they've been doing this for years, and they got all this expensive, you know, equipment, and, you know, some of these YouTube videos that I watch are like watching actual movie productions. You know what I mean? I'm just running this off of, you know, a cell phone and a tripod. You know what I mean? So I'm nowhere near professional. I'm learning as I've gotten into this thing and as time has gone on and all these different devices, you know, that I've gotten. I've learned a lot, and I'm still continuing to learn. And that's another one of the things that's exciting about it, is because I love to learn new things, and I'm finding new things out with this channel all the time. And so Optical image stabilization, I haven't found any sources that confirm whether it does or does not have optical image stabilization on this camera. But ladies and gentlemen, I've had plenty of devices that does have optical image or electronic image stabilization, and I know how that looks. And every time I record a video, before I upload it, I go back and I watch it. And I make sure that I change any necessary changes or, just in the editing process. This phone, as shaky as it was before the update, appeared to not have optical image stabilization. Now, I'm not saying that the camera does have optical image stabilization because there was an update that was pushed, and it seems like things were just a little bit more stable after the update. But maybe the camera just has some type of, stability function, which still is unconfirmed. Because the update just simply said that it just helps with camera stability. It's not saying that it helps the camera's optical image stabilization. So I don't want to say that this camera has optical image stabilization. I'll just say there was an update that was pushed that seemed to have helped the camera's stability a bit. Still a little bit shaky. If you're recording video and you're moving around, you're still going to need to hold it very tightly in your hand or walk very gingerly if you're walking. All right. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, be sure to tune into the video. It's called Lenovo Z5 / the camera. I keep the title very simple. That's uploaded, and so you can go and check that out if you want to know more about the camera. There's still shot images that was taken with the camera. There's video samples and all the information that you're going to need about the camera, if this is something that you're planning on moving forward with, okay? So moving on. Battery life. Now, we've got a 3,300 milliamp hour battery, and I've had absolutely no problem getting through a full day. We have Type-C connectivity, USB 2.0, not 3.0, but we still have fast charge. This phone charges from 0 to 100 in about an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, now that's not bad. There are devices that charge faster than this, so this isn't the fastest fast charging, but nonetheless, it is fast charging. And so, if you need to top up, then it's not going to take you that long to do so. All right. Now, And another thing with the battery life is you've got tons of ways in which you can optimize the battery. There's tons of features that you can utilize under the battery settings. And matter of fact, let's just pop into that real quick. Okay, battery. Now, as you can see, last full charge, 11 days, 14 hours and 22 minutes ago. Screen usage time, 3 hours and 46 minutes. And I'm at 38%. 2 days left. So we've got battery saver, modify abnormal power usage, battery optimization. So you can literally go in here under modify abnormal power use. Oops, I want to turn that back on. But if you click into battery optimization, and then this gives you access to all these applications that you can turn on or off so that you can manually optimize your battery. Okay, so that's a pretty slick feature to have. I'm a personal fan of that. And then you can also have, battery saver come on, at 20% or 15%, 10%, 5%, or just, whatever you want to set it at to get that extra juice out. You know what I mean? To help you along your day if that's something that you're going to need, okay? Now, moving along to additional features. Now, this phone, it's got a lot of stuff going for it. It doesn't, not too many things that I haven't seen on other devices, but nonetheless, some of the things that this phone possesses are pretty slick to have. And so if we go into the settings menu and we go into, you got a game mode, and so that's a nice feature. If you guys are mobile phone gamers, if you guys are addicted to PUBG, which seems to be one of the most popular mobile games that are out right now, then hey man, you can extend and enhance the experience with a lot of the game modes here. So you got game mode, performance mode, clear cache, prevent switching from networks, which is pretty slick. Do not disturb, game keyboard, disable navigation bar and U-Touch, which just gets rid of the navigation bar here, or even if you've got U-Touch enabled, and I'll talk about that in a second, then you can turn that off so that if you're gaming, there won't be any accidental presses or anything that may take you out of your game and possibly ruin your progress. Okay, now, If you go into lab features, you got multiple space, position travel. I haven't really messed with those things much, but one of the things that it's nice that you've got screen recorder right there. I mean, if you want to, record something on the screen, create a little GIF or a GIF or something like that, then you have the ability to do that. But then we got U-Touch here. This is one of my favorite features. And what this does is it completely eliminates the navigation bar, and it gives you that iPhone X type of feel to where you can control your device with nothing but just gestures. You know what I mean? And so you definitely can take advantage of the additional screen real estate. And so you see right there, the navigation keys are no longer there. Okay. And now, rather than you having that space down there for the navigation keys, then you've got, the Play Store, camera, messages, and phone, which you have that you're taking full on advantage of that 19:9 aspect ratio, which is pretty slick. And it also makes the phone just look a little bit different as well. And, you guys take a look at my OnePlus 6 here. I've also got that feature enabled on the OnePlus 6, and it just makes the phone look a little bit sweeter without those navigation keys on the bottom. I mean, it really makes a difference, So that's why I like to have that enabled, and I like it. I mean, it provides a little bit of a different feel, a different look. A lot of people, that have Android devices, they either don't have that capability because they don't realize that they do, or they just don't have that capability at all. And they see the device and they're just like, man, where your navigation keys? And I'm just like, man, you just swipe using your thumb or your finger or however you want to do it. And so, it's pretty nice. I mean, the phone does have one-handed mode. We do have facial recognition, which is pretty accurate, So if I go ahead and lock the device here, I'll just go ahead and tap. And you see that? Just open right up. And so I was able to poke my head over the Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus here and, get it to read my eyes. But there we go. And so aside from that, you do have the fingerprint sensor on the back. So I do like the fact that you're giving some options as far as how you want to secure your device. And the fingerprint sensor works 100% of the time. You just tap it there and boom, opens up your device. Tap, opens up your device. And I do like the fact that, it's a different feel. I mean, we've got Android 8.1. So you swipe down from the top to get to your notifications. And then you swipe up from the bottom. Oh, well, since I've got U-Touch enabled, you swipe up from the bottom right. And that's what brings up your quick toggles for your Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, flashlight, location, airplane mode, all that stuff. And then you swipe down to get rid of that. Okay, so got some pretty nice things, on here. Now, I notice you're not able to customize a lot of the stuff. I know a lot of times, like when you long press on the screen, effect, and you can do cool little things where you can change the sizes of the apps and stuff like that. It doesn't give you the ability to do all that kind of thing. So when you long press on the screen, then as you can see here, it says click applications to arrange them in batch process. But then you've got you can add like little widgets and stuff to the screen. Okay, but it doesn't give you the option to change or transition or anything like that. I mean, so you're just stuck with this side scrolling, which there's nothing wrong with, but I'm a fan of customization. And, phones like LG or like Xiaomi and a lot of others, they give you the ability to change the transition effect. I mean, so you can do something a little different. You know what I mean? So I wish that was something that was present on the device. But hey, man, for $229.99, I can't complain given the fact that you're getting a lot for that particular price point. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for the Pristine review for the Lenovo Z5. Now, again, was it a huge lie to captivate our attention? To even care about this device? Absolutely. But I think it was, was it necessary? I mean, some people think that it was, that it was necessary in order to gain some attention for this device, because a lot of people are like, outside of what Lenovo's doing with Motorola and what they're doing with computers and, desktops and laptops and stuff like that, who cares about them in the mobile phone world, right? There's so many people and so many other notable, reputable companies out there that are making good quality smartphones. Like, who cares about Lenovo? So some people feel like in that particular regard, that the big lie to captivate our attention about this device was necessary. Now, me personally, I feel like Lenovo is already an established company. You know, we know what they've done in the computer game with laptops, 2-in-1s, desktops. You know, we know what they're doing with Lenovo. They now own Motorola. And so everything that they're doing, you know, with the Moto devices, from the budget to the mid-range on up to the flagships, with the Moto mods and everything like that. I mean, a lot of people, you know that Lenovo is behind that. If you don't, then now you know. Tell them Pristine told you. Lenovo is behind that. So those who know that, we know what they're capable of. You know, so me personally, I don't think that they needed to put on this big facade, this big lie to draw attention to this device. I think if they just had an unveiling, and, you know, unveiled all what this phone does in its glory, and then hit us with the price and was just like, hey, we're undercutting a lot of the mid-range competition, because a lot of phones with these specs are going for like $350 to $400, $450, maybe $500, depending on who the company is. We're going to undercut all them, and we're going to give this phone to you for $230. I think that in itself would have been enough to captivate all of us who were paying attention. But the marketing strategy worked. You know, because even though it was a big lie and everybody was disappointed, the phone still sold like hotcakes as soon as it was unveiled. And according to sources, it still is. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. Lenovo, they did what they had to do. You know, the phone is flying off of store shelves. It's in people's hands. And if you're a manufacturer, I mean, that's what you want. Ultimately, the end result ended up being what they wanted it to be. So I guess in that particular aspect, hey, you know, I guess the lie was necessary. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got for the Pristine review for the Lenovo Z5. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of videos that I've done like this one. And definitely stay tuned, because I've got so much more content to come. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that every time Pristine Tech uploads a video, you will be the first to check out the video. Drop your questions or comments about what you saw, any feedback, anything that you want me to elaborate on. I'm here for you, and I'll get back in contact with you guys as soon as I possibly can. All right? So, you guys already know, man. Please keep it safe. Get spiritually fit in 2018, and keep it pristine in all that you do. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys, my subscribers. Much love to all of you. You guys that have been rocking with me for a minute, much appreciated. All my new subscribers, welcome to the Pristine movement. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate your subscription. I'm going to continue to do my thing. I'm your man Pristine, bringing you guys the content. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.